great things for the people of the state of Alabama. We're here today at the Alabama State Capitol Circle of Flags to move forward a program that highlights working for Alabama. If we reflect just a moment, we remember where we were in this process legislatively in the last session, and we spent a lot of time following the governor's lead on a program she named the Game Plan, which created what are some of the, maybe the best incentives in the nation. And as a result of all of that work, we came to the conclusion as we began to think through this, with the help of many you're going to hear from this morning, if we've got the best incentives in America, if we're doing things as a result of that package like the SEEDS Act, where we're adding sites and doing other things to develop our state and grow, the number one question that's going to be asked by those that are looking to come and invest hundreds of millions of dollars in Alabama is, how can you prove to me you're going to have a workforce when I get ready to invest in your state? And how can you allow me to understand that is going to be reality not only now, but 10 years from now and 25 years from now. And so the goal of what we're seeing with Working for Alabama is putting together a plan that is going to give us an opportunity to be able to do that. We have a low workforce participation rate in Alabama. We need to increase that. We have training opportunities across the board that need to be focused and centralized so we make the most of the resources that we're spending on being able to help folks be ready to go to work and accomplish great things for them and their families. So as we think about this project and we think about this focus, that's going to be the initiative of Working for Alabama as we get ready to hear from those that are with me today. Specific items that are going to be discussed in regards to changes, legislative thought, ideas, resources that are going to be brought to bear to be able to do all that's necessary to answer that question for those that look to grow in Alabama's economy. How are we going to make sure that we have the workforce ready to be able to do what we need to do in the future? So that's what we're going to talk about this morning, and it's my privilege and benefit to be able to be the MC of the event. There's been a little discussion. I don't really understand why it needs to continue this morning. About a softball game that was played last night. The only thing I'm going to say about it, Mr. Speaker, is we raised a lot of money for the Big Oak Ranch. Good job. All right, so let's get started with the most distinguished lady in the state of Alabama. She needs no introduction, but it's a fun thing for me to get to introduce our governor. Kay Ivey, once she finishes her term, if I'm not mistaken, will be the longest serving governor in the state of Alabama. Also, the only Republican woman to serve as the governor of the state of Alabama. We've already given credit to the governor for the game plan and all the things she led us through last year to prepare ourselves to be where we are today. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the governor of the state of Alabama, Kay Ivey.
Well, good morning. Pro Tem Reed, members of the legislature, I am proud to be with you all here today. When taking office in 2017 and ever since, I have said that when a challenge faces Alabama, we need to look at it head on and make an opportunity of it. Working together, y'all, we have done that. When our roads and bridges and ports needed our attention, we rallied around the Rebuild Alabama. When we greatly lacked adequate broadband access across the state, we joined together through Connect Alabama, which has moved our state from 47th to 24th in the nation in high-speed internet accessibility. When a fresh approach was needed to spur entrepreneurship and growth, we formed Innovate Alabama. And today, we lead most of our neighboring states in the increase in new business applications. And when we needed to prepare the economy of tomorrow, we made a game plan. The game plan, which I was proud to sign into law last year, and we continue seeing record job growth as a result. So what's our challenge now? While we have record low unemployment, our labor force participation rate is one of the lowest in the country. And y'all, that's not low in a good way. In 2015, major reforms were made within the state's workforce development sector. And as governor, I'm calling on our legislature to once again make the needed reforms so that our workforce development programs work better for us and its two customers, job seekers and our employers. Today, all together, we are bringing forward our different ideas to move the needle once again on another important issue. So y'all, let's get working for Alabama. Thank you again for having me here with you today. It takes all of us to ensure that Alabama's best days are still in front of us. Senator Reid, back to you.
Thank you, Governor, for those comments and for your leadership always. Next, I get the privilege of introducing my buddy and my friend, who's the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Alabama. Governor Ainsworth and a group of legislators and leaders within our state spent a lot of time working in a commission, a task force, if you will, on these particular items and topics. What are the areas to be very specific about, to follow up on the game plan, to follow the direction and leadership of the governor, where the legislature is going to move in a direction to have tangible items that we're going to be able to work on to make the outcomes that we desire, that we're talking about this morning, reality. So with that, let's listen to the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Alabama, Will Ainsworth. Governor?
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Our goal from our commission is to be the workforce engine of the Southeast. Business owners all over the state tell me the number one limiting factor to growth is people. We want to solve that. We believe everybody's got a God-given ability. Everybody's got a passion. The purpose of education is to make sure that they get ready for a job. First bill I want to talk about is the Alabama Workforce Transformation Act. Senator Livingston and Representative Garrett will be carrying this bill. This bill is going to do a lot of things. First, it's going to merge and consolidate duplicate workforce agencies in our state. It's going to be led by the first time in the state to have a cabinet-level workforce development official. And we think that's going to be great. We're also going to have industry representation through a board that's going to make recommendations, have a workforce development plan for our state, review budget requests and make recommendations there, and also work with the Secretary of Workforce to make sure we have consolidation efforts. Really excited about that. The other bill I want to talk about is the Workforce Pathways Act, and to think this is going to be a game changer for our state. Senator Chastain and Representative Lawrence are going to carry this. Here's a fact everybody needs to know. About 50% of the students in this state end up not getting a 2- or 4-year degree. When you think about that, the goal of education should be to get students ready for a job. And we're going to have a new diploma, working with K through 12, a workforce pathway diploma. And the idea is simple, right? They're going to spend less time in the classroom, more time learning a trade. So when they graduate high school, they can go right into the great jobs we're going to have in Alabama. Also, with our community colleges, they're doing a tremendous job. Part of this legislation is going to have a $4,500 grant that's going to help students with dual enrollment classes while they're in high school. These transformational changes will help Alabama continue our goal to be the workforce engine of the Southeast. So happy to talk about workforce development. Certainly not going to talk about the softball game yesterday, but congratulations to the House. So thank you.
Thank you, Governor Ainsworth. Appreciate those comments and all the work by you and your team, sir. Next, I get the privilege to introduce my friend who I work with all the time. We have a meeting every Tuesday morning, whether we want to or not. talk about the details of what's going on in the House, what's going on in the Senate, how we make it work. Nathaniel Ledbetter is a man of great integrity and does a superb job in leading the Alabama House of Representatives as their Speaker. Mr. Speaker, come talk to us this morning.
Well, let me say it's certainly an honor to be here this morning, and what a great morning it is. And I wasn't going to mention the softball game, but since the Senate keeps mentioning it, I'm going to say go House. Way to go, guys. Absolutely. The only thing is I think we started a trend. I don't know if there'll ever be a chance for the Senate again. But anyway, we'll go forward. Hey, listen, I think, when public and private partnerships work together, it works the best. And there's no question about it. Today is a momentous occasion. If you look behind what we've been able to do for the state, starting with Rebuild Alabama and the governor's lead on that, and Lieutenant Governor on the workforce development, it's been a trend that's been set for our state that we continue to increase and grow our jobs because of the work we're doing and making credits ready for the people that wants to come serve our state with jobs. One of the things that we had talked with the Lieutenant Governor with and we'd done in the House, we formed a committee together, and we knew once we got the committee put together and working on labor participation, the fact of the matter was a lot of families, we hear the fact that 43% of working age people are not working. They do not have a job. And some people say, well, they need to get off the couch and go to work, but it's not that simple. When you got families with single moms that's got 2 kids and they're paying $30,000 a year for child care, there's a problem. And I think for us as leaders in the state, we have to try to fix those problems. And I'm excited in this package of bills that we're going to have one for a child care tax credit where families in our state can go to work and be productive for their communities. Over 85,000 mamas and daddies in this state doesn't have child care. So I think passing this bill will enable more people to go to work, and that's what they want to do, and we got to give them that chance. Another thing we're going to be looking at is housing credit. We've had tremendous growth in our state. We are beneficiaries of our own success because of those positions that come open and people are moving in. Housing's getting higher and higher, and having a credit to build housing, I think, is important. We'll see that as part of this package. I think it goes without saying, with what's happened over the last few years, Alabama has grown our economy more than any other time in the history. We're a new Alabama. And we got to continue to do that. And I'm so excited to see that we have leadership in the Senate with Senator Reed and Lieutenant Governor, and then the governor's office with Governor Ivey that's willing to continue to move the needle. Alabama now ranks number 6th in the country when it comes to business moving into our state. If we're going to continue to grow and get better, we got to have new, better, and brighter ideals. And this package is all of that. And we couldn't do it without our public and private partnership. And I think we all work better when we work together. And there's no question about that. And today, I think, proves that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appreciate your comments and your leadership always, my friend. Now I get the opportunity to introduce the guy really that I work with all the time, every day. He is the minority leader in the Alabama Senate. He's my great friend. We have served together the whole time I've been in the Alabama Senate. He comes from a little south of here. He brings so much experience to the table in regards to different elements of legislation and the way things have been, can be, and a vision for the future that he's able to give us insight on and talk to us about all the time. He and I have an ability to serve together on the Innovate Alabama board, which I've learned a great deal from Bobby Singleton as we've moved through that process. So now it's our privilege and my privilege to introduce and listen to the minority leader of the Alabama Senate, Mr. Bobby Singleton. Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Thank you, Governor Ivey. Today I bring the tool in the toolbox for cities and counties to be able to set up what we call the Alabama Innovative District Act. In the past, cities and counties have only had abatement taxes that they can offer to industry when they come to their area. Now we're going to give them the opportunity to set up this innovative district to where they can offer sales tax. They won't have to use the state all the time. They can be able to put together their packages and put their own skin in the game. And so this is going to be a game changer. Not only is it for a single city, but one or more cities can join together and create in their geographical area this innovative district. Also, it could be a district that is congruent with 2 counties or 2 or 3 counties or more. So we're allowing this tool to be sharpened as we move across the state of Alabama. This is not just a large city tool, but it could definitely be used in the rural areas. That's why I'm excited, because I know my little town of Greensboro may not be able to have the capacity by herself to be able to bring in industry, but matched up with the county or the county next door, we may be able to be successful at it. So we're bringing about this toolbox to give us special tax implications, tax exemptions, and allow those sales taxes outside of educational taxes to be used inside of this zone to be able to help industry to be able to come to our community. Thank you very much. We look forward to working with those of you who want to come to Alabama. We'll open up for business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Thank you so much. The Senator mentioned the highlight in this package is not only for urban areas, but also for rural Alabama. And as you've heard the governor speak about with broadband and so many other things that we've done that are so important for rural Alabama, this component is a part of what we're doing with this package as well. Next, I get the privilege to introduce the leader in the House of Representatives, who is the minority leader there. Gentleman has been pretty busy lately. We appreciate his leadership. He hails from up in Huntsville in North Alabama and does an extraordinary job in leading in the House of Representatives in the minority caucus. With that, Mr. Leader, come and speak to us. Anthony Daniels, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I'm actually from Bullock County, Midway, Alabama. But I support those boys and girls in North Alabama, too. Certainly an honor to be here, Governor. Thank you for your leadership. We also want to acknowledge the business community, the CEO, President and CEO of the Business Council of Alabama, Ms. Helena Duncan, for your leadership. The Speaker of the House, my minority leader colleague in the Senate, who came up short yesterday, Lieutenant Governor, and Mr. Pro Tem. The child care tax credit is a very important piece of legislation that will be moving through the House and Senate. But my colleague in the Senate, Senator Gudger, will be carrying the companion bill in the Senate. What this bill will do was allow families and business to be able to work together. We know that the workforce participation rate in the state of Alabama is not where we want it to be. And this is another tool in the toolbox that will give us an opportunity to chart a path for families to be able to re-enter the workforce. A mother or a family that want to re-enter the workforce will now have an opportunity moving forward after this piece of legislation moved through both houses and signed by the governor, where the employer will be able to get a tax credit for building a child care facility on site, or also receive a credit to be able to then distribute to their employees. And so a mother that works at in any manufacturer in the state of Alabama that qualify for this particular credit will be able to receive up to $2,000 either in their check or reimbursement directly to the child care provider. And so this is not only a public-private partnership, this is a partnership to chart the path of the future in education in Alabama. We know that every dollar invested in early childhood saves us $7 in corrections. And in knowing so, we have to make certain that we're building the infrastructure in rural Alabama as well as urban and suburban Alabama. And so this is another tool that's going to give businesses an opportunity to increase their workforce participation rate and hire people that are right now having to make a choice between breaking even, working and breaking even, or child care. And many of them have chosen child care because it's much more affordable for them to be able to stay at home with their children than the affordability of child care. And so what this will do is expand the access to child care and the opportunity, and also address the affordability of child care. And so this is yet another tool in the toolbox that will help families. It will help us increase the participation rate. It will give families what they need, but it will also help increase the rigor of our curriculum in the K-12 system by giving young people a chance to be able to go to a 5-star facility where their families can receive up to $2,000. So this is a great day for Alabama, working for Alabama, and these are one of the tools of the many tools in the toolbox that we'll be carrying in the package. And to the men and women in the legislature, we look forward to working with both the House and the Senate to carry these pieces of legislation, these package of bills through the House and the Senate and sign into law so we can go home smiling at the end of the session.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Appreciate those comments. Now it's a privilege of mine to introduce, certainly not the least, but the last of our speakers. Helena does a phenomenal job in being able to lead the Business Council of Alabama, and we're looking for support from so many stakeholders in this process. We can't do it alone, just as the legislature and the governor and the leadership that you've heard from today, but also stakeholders in the business community, the education community across our state. Helena, thank you so much for your organization's leadership. Come and speak to us for a moment.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. It's a beautiful morning to deliver such great news. Just let's think back 12 months ago. We were all here together, all of us, and we were talking about a monumental piece of legislation that has proven to shape our state, and the nation is using us as a model for its incentives. And this has allowed us to feel the impact of this legislation for years to come to help us continue with steady growth in our economy. So now let's fast forward. We're all here together again. That's what it's all about, working together. We're here now talking about workforce. At the Business Council of Alabama, we hear daily from our members and people that are not our members, businesses across the state as I travel, they talk about skilled labor, the lack of. And so yet again, public-private partnerships have gotten together. We've decided let's put an end to this issue and to provide Alabama with something that is steady, that is efficient, and that is reliable for our state to create jobs, workers for our jobs, and to get Alabamians back to work. Governor Ivey, Lieutenant Governor, everybody's kind of spread out, Leader, Senator Pro Tem, Speaker, Leader Daniels, thank you guys and all of you state legislators for being so intentional and so committed to making Alabama great and giving us the tools that we need to be great regardless of why we're here. That is all because of you, and we appreciate you caring so much about our state. We at the Business Council of Alabama, this is our top priority. It's a top priority for our state. It's a top priority for our members. So therefore, it's a top priority for us. And we will exhaust all of our efforts to get this package of bills and legislation passed into the governor's desk as soon as possible for her signature. Thank you guys for being here, and you can count on us to get this done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Helena. We appreciate you and your organization for all of your leadership. Okay, so now I've got something I want you to do. When I say the word, you repeat it back to me. You ready? Working. For Alabama. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here today. Those in the media, the speakers are going to be here for photographs, so move forward if you will. Thank you so much.